Good evening, everyone. We are very pleased today to have Mr. Ng Kok Song and Mr. Mark Hansen to conduct a workshop on meditation. And both Mr. Ng and Mr. Hansen, they were here with Father Lawrence early last year to give a 4-day workshop in this room. And they've kindly accepted our invitation to come back to give a refresher course to those who attended those sessions and for those who missed them. So before I hand over to them, I'll just do a brief introduction. Mr. Ng is the founding chairman of Avanda Investment Management, and he's a former group chief investment officer of GIC. And he has been practicing meditation for over 30 years, and he leads the Singapore chapter of the World Community for Christian Meditation. And he introduced meditation to the late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. Mr. Mark Hansen is the managing director at the Asian Leadership Institute. He believes that meditation is a way to build leadership skills. And he's been practicing meditation also for some 30 years. And he also teaches meditation to MBA students at SMU. Yeah. Okay, so I'll hand over.
Good. Thank you. So thank you very much, Biping, for inviting us here today. It is quite rare to find a company that is interested in meditation. And it is important, in our opinion, for organizations to be concerned about the wholeness of their staff. When we talk about the wholeness of the human person, we are talking about the integration of body, mind, and spirit. See, the body, I think we know how to take care of it. We eat very well. The mind, needs stimulus. But the one thing that we neglect quite often is the spirit. And the meditation is to the spirit what food is to the body, what study is to the mind. So meditation is vital, in our opinion, for the wholeness of the human person. And when the human person can come to wholeness through a practice such as meditation, then all their relationships benefit from it. Their relationship first with themselves, the relationship with people close to them, the relationship with colleagues in the office, and indeed their relationship, you might say, with the cosmos, with everything in the world. That is why meditation is so important. And that is why Mark and I, we very much enjoy sharing with you, out of our own experience, how meditation has helped us. And we hope that you can also help you in your personal growth and development. Last year in January, Angeline invited Father Lawrence Freeman to give a workshop here at DP. And I think about 200 people attended most of the sessions, over 4 sessions of about 3 hours each. And in the last 2 months, I've been going through the material of those talks that Father Lawrence gave, and Biping very kindly worked very hard to transcribe the talks. We recorded those talks. Biping, diligently and painstakingly transcribed the talks, which made it easier for me to go through them. And I— what a treasure trove of teaching there was in those, I call them DP talks, the DP talks on meditation. And I spoke with Father Lawrence last week. I said we must bring out a book on meditation for personal and organizational development, using this material from the DP talks. And so today I want to begin our session together, get straight down to the point, which is how to meditate, and then we will meditate together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play for you one of those sections of the talks which Father Lawrence gave last year about how to meditate. So you will listen to him now, giving you the instruction on how to meditate. It's about a 15-minute talk. You see, I didn't have time to prepare, but honestly, it's not that. What you're going to listen, in my opinion, is perhaps the best talk that I have heard him give on the basic practice of meditation, how to meditate. So I think it's worth listening to it, because it's a very gentle introduction to people, completely new to meditation. So at the end of this talk, there will be about a 7-minute period where we will meditate together with Father Lawrence. So now I'd like you to listen to this talk.
The work of silence. Meditation is the work of silence. Something we want to share with you is that the silence is very powerful. Just to give us a little taste of this concept of silence, let's just take a moment to be silent. We'll just time this 1 or 2 minutes of silence with this bell to help you lead into the silence. Just listen to the bell until it fades, and then just stay in the silence until it rings again. You probably found in that time of silence, your attention was on the external noise. But did any of you have any internal noise? I mean, not your tummy, but your minds. Was anybody absolutely free from thought? You were distracted. Your minds were jumping around. That's the human condition, isn't it? That's what we're going to deal with. The ability to pay attention, the ability to focus, which is another way of saying the ability to be silent, and to integrate that into one's whole life. The posture is very important in learning to meditate, because you want your body to be in harmony with your mind, with the work that you're doing. So let's just look at the body posture of meditation. We're all sitting in chairs. Sitting is a natural posture for meditation. You can sit in a chair, you could cushion, whichever way you sit, the basic rule of posture is to sit with your back straight. Your feet on the ground. It's a good idea if you're sitting in a chair, just feel the weight of your feet on the ground. If you're sitting on a cushion, you'll feel the weight of your body in a slightly different way. But in whatever way you sit, feel that weightedness of your body held down by gravity. So feel that, and then sit upright with your back straight. It doesn't mean that your back has to be leaning into the back of the chair, but it probably means that you want to put the base of your spine into the corners of the chair so that it's giving you a little bit of support and a little push forward. So you can keep your back straight without being rigid. Imagine there's a line from the crown of your head to the base of your spine, and just align yourself on that vertical axis. Then you put your hands on your lap or on your knees, so your body feels harmonious. It's a natural posture. Now, there's nothing esoteric or magical about this. This is just learning to sit well so that you can sit comfortably during the period of the meditation. And wakefully, meditation is about being attentive, and being attentive means being awake. The Buddha said no one is enlightened when they are asleep. So we want to try to stay awake, and your posture and your breathing, of course, is going to help you to do that. So now just sitting in this posture, relaxing your shoulders, but keeping conscious of that line from your crown of your head to your base of your spine, feeling grounded, relaxed but alert. Close your eyes lightly, and we'll take another minute or two of silence in this posture. Sat very still. The stillness of body that we practice in meditation is important, and it will help you to come to the stillness of mind, which of course then leads to greater clarity, greater peace, greater calmness of mind. And just now, where we were just silent for a few moments, were helpful perhaps, preparatory, but we hadn't actually got into the work of meditation yet, the work of attention. Meditation is this kind of work. Taking the attention of our thought is what we do. How do we do this? Our thoughts are like a stream of consciousness that's constantly flowing. You're thinking about the past, you're thinking about the future, you're imagining, you're planning, you're analyzing, you're dealing with anxieties, you're solving problems, you're cultivating fantasies, you're constructing desires, we're thinking trivial thoughts. I should have bought this at the supermarket last night. Or you're dealing with bigger questions, what am I going to do with my career? Or you're dealing with emotional problems, relationships at work or at home. So the mind is going to be constantly filled with thoughts. Just use the word thought to cover all of this kind of mental and emotional activity, which wells up from deep levels of consciousness, sometimes from the unconscious, of course, as well. So, how do we deal with that? Well, you don't build a dam. You don't block them. You don't use force. But we have to have a way of laying aside these thoughts, because otherwise we just get swept along in the stream of that consciousness, and we never get out of it. So, how do we do it? What I want to share with you is a way, one particular way, But we're going to concentrate on one particular method of meditation. Of course, there are others, although they all relate together with the same idea of attention, perseverance. But we're going to concentrate one way because it is better to dig one well deep. Because by digging one well deep, you will find the spring. The water will well up. Otherwise, you dig lots of little holes and you will die first. We're not saying this is the only way to enlightenment, and we'll find this way described in all of these traditions. It's the way of one word. Begin to repeat, to recite interiorly, silently, a single word. And we keep repeating this word, or returning to this word, all the way through the meditation. Simple, but not easy, because you'll find very quickly that these thoughts are very persuasive, very seductive, or very obsessive. So you'll be thinking about all your problems, going back to your anxieties, or you'll be fantasizing, or you'll be planning and analyzing and so on. When you catch yourself doing that, then that's what we call a distraction. When you get distracted, means you become caught up in one of these streams of thought, or many streams of thought at the same time, depending on how busy and distracted or anxious your mind is at any one moment. When you find that your attention gets distracted onto one of these streams of thought, what do? You drop the thought, just drop it like that. Don't try and resolve it, just drop it. And come back to your single focus, which is your word. So drop the thought, humbly come back to your word, and start repeating it again. Now the important thing is to stay with the same word all the way through the meditation. And that's the discipline. Coming back to the word is a discipline. It's a gentle discipline. And you say the word gently, but faithfully. Keep coming back to it. Now choosing the word is important, because you want to stay with the same word. And I'm going to recommend a particular word for you, which is not in any of the languages I think that any of us speak here, but it has a sound. It's a very helpful mantra. Mantra, a Sanskrit word meaning the word we repeat, or a verse that we repeat. Meditation word. So this is the word I'm going to recommend. If you prefer to choose another one, we can talk about that, but this is the one I would recommend we start with. And this is the word Maranatha. 4 syllables. Ma, Ra, Na, Tha. Open vowel sound, calming sound, 4 syllables, help you to say it in a rhythmic way. Ma, Ra, Na, Tha. I advise you not to visualize the word as you say it, but say it as a sound and listen to it. There's an Aramaic word. It means literally, come, Lord. But we don't think about the meaning of the word as we say it. That's why it's helpful that it's not in your own language. Why? Because the work of meditation is laying aside your thoughts. Saying the word means you can take the attention off your thoughts. By thoughts, remember, I mean everything. We give our full and undivided attention to the mantra, to this word, as we say it. So let's try that. Meditate for about 10 minutes. Remember your posture. Do the checklist of your posture. First of all, if you're sitting in the chair, your feet on the ground, base of your spine in the back of the seat, so that your back can stay upright. Relax your shoulders. Relax the muscles of your face. Close your eyes lightly. Just allow the breath to flow. Give your attention to the breath for a few moments. This will help the body to anchor the mind. And then gently introduce the mantra, the word, and begin to sound it. Ma, Ra, Na, Tha. Ma, Ra, Na, Tha. And listen to the word as you say it. Give it your full attention. When you get distracted, drop the thought and come back to the word. Ma, Ra, yourself. Ma, ra, na, ta. The work of silence. Meditation is the work of silence. Something we want to share with you is that the silence in
Where's the card? The card I distributed, I need one of them. Good, thank you. So there was 10 minutes of meditation. I have been meditating, as Ping says, for over 30 years. But let me tell you what a struggle it was in the first 3 years. I could not sit still. My mind was so busy. Quite often I would cut short my meditation period because I found it very frustrating because of the distracted mind. But thankfully, I had a companion in my meditation, my late wife. She was very keen to meditate, so she roped me in. And then she encouraged me. So we meditate together in the morning and in the evening. And she was very disciplined, very resolute in wanting to meditate. So she sat down with me, and because she was sitting down there, I dare not get up. And so that's how I persevered. So don't be surprised when you first learn meditation that it will be quite a struggle. But nothing that is really precious and valuable in life can be easy. Anything that is really precious and valuable requires discipline on our part. And meditation is one of those disciplines that is very worthwhile to cultivate in our life. So after meditating for over 30 years, I'm convinced that the practice of meditation is the kindest thing you can do for yourself. We don't take good care of ourselves. Quite often we take care of everybody else and we forget about ourselves. But you are not of much use to other people unless you first take care of yourself. So finding the time to meditate, finding the time to be with yourself in silence and in stillness is the kindest thing you can do for yourself. And then you will discover that not only is it the kindest thing you can do for yourself, it is the kindest thing you can do for everybody else. Because when you become a more peaceful person, at peace with yourself, everybody else benefit, especially the people closest to you, your family members, your friends, your colleagues at work, anybody that you meet. And that's the reason why I look forward to my meditation. It was a struggle in the first 3 years. Now, every day, I look forward to my period of meditation. So I meditate 25 minutes in the morning and 25 minutes in the evening. It has become a way of life for me. But when you first begin, don't be too ambitious. Be realistic. What do I mean by being realistic? In other words, build up the discipline gradually. So maybe start with once a day, 10 minutes. To be serious about your meditation, you have to arrive at doing it twice a day, morning and evening, for 20 minutes. That's the goal. So set yourself that goal. Morning and evening, 20 minutes, let's say in 3 years' time. But start now, once a day, 10 minutes. And then you gradually increase it and you build it up. Now, okay, I want to go back to the basics of how to meditate. And what you heard Father Lawrence Freeman say. That is the most important thing, to learn how to do it. So now I want to reinforce that with this card, which you all have. Have you all got a card? All of you? Good. So go to the second, the reverse side. So I have the instructions there about how to meditate. I want to go through it with you, step by step, so that you can understand the teaching very clearly. So the first thing is, you notice there are three big headings. Sit still, say the mantra, meditate twice daily. Okay? So under the first heading, sit still, straight back, upright spine, rest the frame of your body on the front edge of your buttock bone. Now this is the posture. In order to sit with your back straight, you want to find your buttock bone. And then you rest the frame of your body on the front edge of the buttock bone. So that automatically straightens your back, your spine. See? So on this chair, if you do that, you wouldn't be resting on the backrest of the chair. You'll be a little bit out, and you're straight. And the whole idea is that you want to be alert. You don't want to be too relaxed. You're too relaxed, you fall asleep. So you want to be alert. And a straight spine, straight back, is the way to be alert during your meditation. Number 2, rest your feet on the floor, so that you are nicely anchored. If your feet are hanging in the air, it gets tired. And then you have to move. So rest your feet on the floor. Put your hands on your lap or on your knee, or one palm on top of the other. One palm on top of the other is like that. At your navel, just one palm on top of the other. But you can also put your hands on your lap or on your knee. Because people say, where do I put my hands? Well, that's where you put your hands, right? So the feet, the hands. Close your eyes lightly. Right? Close your eyes lightly. The whole idea is so that you are not distracted by what's going on around you. You're turning inwards. So close your eyes very lightly so that you are less distracted. Number 5, relax all the muscles of your body, especially your facial muscles. So to meditate, we want to be alert, but we also want to be relaxed. So the first place where we should relax is really our face, because we carry a lot of tension in our face. So just relax your facial muscles, sort of have a slight smile, Now when you have a slight smile, that means you are relaxed. So relax your facial muscles. And then number 6, observe your breath flowing in and out. this awareness of the breath quietens the mind. You see, you notice that when you close your eyes and then you breathe, you observe your breath coming in and going out. And then the mind quietens down, the thoughts settle. So having the breath flowing in and out, in a nice rhythm, settles the mind. So those are the steps, you might say, the checklist on how to sit properly. Yeah? As you can see, you don't have to sit on the floor in a lotus position. If you can do that, that's very good. But you can also sit on a chair for your meditation. Clear? Very clear? Good. And the next part, say the mantra. So the body is the first part, the second part is the mind. And that's where saying the mantra comes in. So the mantra is very, very important to help us in our meditation. All right? So with the stillness of the body, the stillness of the mind requires the mantra. That's why we say the way of meditation that we are sharing with you is the way of one word, the mantra. So the important thing is to sound this word quietly within you, without moving your lips. And then to listen to it. So there are 4 steps here. Number 1 is, consider using the mantra Maranatha. Now, we recommend this word because it's a very good word for meditation, because it's got a nice sound. Ma-ra-na-tha. All right? Now, it's a sacred word, It's a sacred word which in the Christian tradition means, come Lord. So Father Lawrence, Mark and I, we are Catholics, so we meditate as a form of prayer. So we use this word Maranatha because it expresses our faith. All right? Now, if you prefer some other word, that's okay, but choose a word that is suitable and then stick to it. Don't say, today I use this word, tomorrow I use another word. So Father Lawrence says, you're digging many wells and you die of thirst. But if you use one word, the word over time sinks deeper and deeper within you. All right? And that is very important. Because as it goes deeper and deeper within you, you become more familiar with it. And then you find that your meditation becomes smoother because you have become very familiar with the word. So some people say, if I don't want to use Maranatha, I want to use a secular word. What word would I use? I recommend thank you. Thank you. I think it's a great mantra when you meditate, using the word thank you. Thank you for my life. Thank you that I'm able to meditate. But the word Maranatha is a good word, but if you are not from the Christian religion and you want to use another word that is in your own religion, do that. Choose a word that is meaningful to you and then stick to the word. So the first thing about saying the mantra is to sound the mantra clearly and continuously. Clearly and continuously. In other words, don't mumble. All right? Say it clearly. Ma, ra, na, tha. Let's say it continuously. In other words, when you are meditating and you're sounding this word within you, don't let pauses between your recitation of the word. You pause, then your mind will go somewhere else. So try to say it smoothly, but at the same time, continuously. Ma, ra, na, tha. Ma, ra, na, tha. Now, when we are in a group together, you say it quietly, so that you don't disturb other people. But when you're on your own, when you're first beginning, in order to become more familiar with the word, you can say it out orally, and then fade it, So the first 1 minute of your meditation, you can say, Maranatha, 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 Maranatha. You get it? So that it becomes more familiar to you. Now, listen to the mantra as you sound it. This is very important. Just now I arranged with beeping for people to talk next door while we were meditating. It was specially arranged to test you. So very seductive. You want to listen to what they are talking about. And here you are meditating. In other words, it's the same. It's that other thoughts are demanding your attention. So somebody is talking, some noise outside. So in order for you not to be distracted so easily, you not only have to sound the mantra, but you have to listen to the sound of the mantra as you sound it, so that you are more absorbed in the sounding of the mantra. And that will help you not to get distracted so easily. So sound the mantra and listen to it. It's like when you sound it quietly within you, it's an echoing away. Then you listen to the echo as it is, echoing within you. And the fourth part, rest the mantra on your breath. For example, when you breathe in, you can breathe in Mara. And then as you breathe out Natha. So we are breathing all the time, isn't it? We are breathing in and we are breathing out. So if you can learn to rest the mantra on your breath, then because you are breathing all the time, so the mantra is going on all the time. So see how that develops within you. Give yourself some time, maybe a few weeks. You'll find that very naturally the mantra gets combined, integrated with your breath. So we call this resting the mantra on your breath. Okay? So these are simple hints to help you to say the mantra better. And then the last part is what I have just said. Meditate twice daily. The goal is to meditate every morning and evening for 20 to 30 minutes. It will take some time to develop the discipline. The important thing is to start. Perhaps start with once a day for 10 minutes and gradually increase to 20 minutes twice daily. The best time to meditate is early morning and early evening, when you are alert. But adapt the time to the circumstances of your daily life. So that's all. How to meditate. Now, when you are learning to meditate, you are learning to develop a good habit. A good habit. It takes time to develop a good habit. And it's very difficult sometimes because we lead such busy lives, to incorporate a habit like meditation. Because something has got to give. How do you find the time to meditate? So when you first begin, you have to learn to see how to insert this habit into your daily life. See, for example, for me, I get up early in the morning, and usually I like to go and play golf or tennis 3 times a week. And so on the days when I'm playing golf or tennis in the morning, I get up at 6 o'clock, I drive to the golf course or the tennis court, I play at 7, finish by about 9 o'clock. Then what I do is, I go back to my car, put on the aircon, and I meditate for 25 minutes before I drive home. And that's a good time because I've just done my exercise, and the aircon in the car is cooling. If I wait until I get home, I put on the aircon. It takes a while for the room to cool, right? And I meditate, and then I drive home. And similarly now, when I'm working in the evening, going home, I either meditate in my room, in the office, or sometimes I go to my car because the seat of my car is very comfortable. The driver's seat, bucket seat, I straighten it, then I meditate for 25 minutes before I go home. So you too have to find something like that, 10 minutes, in the morning and in the evening. Everybody's life is different, but you must try to establish that habit. And then, meditating in the morning and in the evening is really developing what I would call a lifestyle where you treasure moments of quiet, moments of silence and stillness. So you will find that as a result of your regular meditation in the morning and in the evening, there'll be other times of the day where you naturally go into meditation. So for example, when I'm playing golf and I'm walking, I'm doing walking meditation. So I will say, Ma, Ra, Na, Tha. Ma, Ra, Na, Tha. You see? So it becomes part of your life. Or when I'm traveling and I'm sitting on the aeroplane, sometimes you get tired. I don't watch movies. I do reading, but sometimes the eyes get tired. Then you find moments to meditate. So we have to learn to create those moments of silence and stillness in the ordinary circumstances of our life. So this silence and stillness, we call this solitude. Solitude means being alone with yourself and being happy to be alone by yourself. You find that those moments of solitude are very life-saving, very life-giving. Especially when you are in a moment of crisis. Sometimes you are angry about something or something tragic has happened and you get rattled, At those moments, if you can just learn to be quiet, find a place to be quiet by yourself and meditate, you find that it settles you. It calms you down, It sort of reduces your fears. That's why I find that when people say, why should the executive, people like you all, why should you meditate? I said the first reason is that every day when we go to work, there will be challenges, Things go wrong, we have disagreements with people, things don't happen the way we wanted, So we get unsettled. So meditation in the morning and in the evening helps to rebalance you. You're thrown off center, meditation centers you, recenters you. You see? And we need that. For example, if you have a difficult day in the office for whatever reason, unless you have a way of rebalancing yourself, you might carry your problems back home. And then it's not good for the family. So just learning to meditate in the evening, helps you, to, in a way, leave the problems behind, or helps to calm you down, and it prepares you for the evening. So this is a very simple way of explaining to you why meditation is so, it's the kindest thing you can do for yourself. As you meditate, you will find that your way of thinking, your creativity as architects, will be enhanced. Why is that so? Why is that so? Well, part of the reason is that the mind needs to rest. The body needs to rest, so you go to sleep. The mind also needs to rest. A mind that is well rested, laying aside of thoughts, releases the power of creativity in you. And more than that, you see, this card here in the front, I have the phrase, meditation is the work of selfless attention. So just now for 10 minutes, when you were saying the mantra, you were doing a work. Don't think you are just going for a relaxation exercise. You are doing a work. What is the work? The work of paying attention. Paying attention to what? To the mantra. And in the work of paying attention to the mantra, you lay aside your thoughts, your self-preoccupation. That's why we call it the work of selfless attention. The work of attention. How does the work of attention help? Look at the bottom. Attention is necessary for study. You want to study anything, you have to learn to pay attention. It improves work productivity. This is what I call, doing one thing well, one at a time. That's how productivity comes about. It's not about multitasking. Learning to do one thing well at a time. It improves your work productivity and is vital for relationships. Learning to pay attention, paying attention to people, that is the secret of relationships. Between boss and subordinate, between you and your peers, between you and your subordinates. Learning to pay attention to them, to listen carefully to what they have to say. Not easily distracted while you're talking to them. That is the secret to a good relationship, because it is the deepest form of respect. Okay. So now I'd like to invite Mark Hansen here, to just share with you how meditation helps, let's say, in an organizational setting. Mark, would you like to do that?
I can use the hand mic.
Okay, you can use that.
Great. Good evening. Thank you for coming this evening. I'm just going to take about 5 or 7 minutes and give a perspective on meditation. Peter had asked me to talk about meditation in organizations. I want to take three different dimensions to it. One, meditation for us as human beings. Second, as professionals. And third, in an organization. I wear a couple of hats. Ping had mentioned I work as a managing director in Asian Leadership Institute. I do executive coaching to senior executives, board members throughout the region. I do a couple of other things. I'm a clinical psychologist. I do pro bono work in Singapore with an agency called Clarity, which is funded by the Catholic Church, National Council on Social Services. You can find me in the clinic in Yishun and Toa Payoh. And I want to come back to that because there's a human dimension to this. And third, I worked in management consulting, a professional services firm, from associate up to partner. So I have some understanding of some of the challenges you face as professionals in a professional service firm. I want to start with a saying, to pick up on a theme Peter had mentioned. The French Enlightenment philosopher Blaise Pascal once said, "We cannot be happy because we cannot sit in solitude and silence for 10 minutes. And what he was trying to say is, everything we need for happiness we can find within ourselves, but we need to have the ability to sit alone with ourselves in silence to be able to recognize that. And particularly in the modern world, because it's so frenetic and the pace of work and the pace of change, it becomes even harder to find the 10 or 20 minutes a day to do meditation once, let alone twice a day. But I would argue it's actually quite critical. One of the things from my clinical work that I've noticed, and I've been doing this, I've lived in Singapore for 30 years, so I know the place quite well. My wife's Singaporean, and I know the best hawker stalls as well. But also, I do a lot of work with Singaporeans, and the big problem I have with clients today is most of them come in with huge amounts of anxiety and stress. We run an assessment tool called the DAS-21. It's a fancy name for something that basically measures depression, anxiety, and stress. And it's normed against the global standard. I have a special norm for stress for Singaporeans because what constitutes extreme stress in the rest of the world basically is average stress in Singapore. So we live in a very stressful society. Likewise, many people come in and they're anxious. Some anxiety is biochemical and you might need medications. A lot of anxiety comes from worries about the past or the future. And when Father Lawrence was talking, he talked about how in meditation our thoughts come up and we're either thinking about the past or things we need to do in the future. The core of anxiety is basically the inability to live in the present moment because we're too worried about what we did in the past, which we can't change, or we're too worried about what's going to happen in the future, most of which we actually don't control. So my first point would be meditation as a practice to bring you into the present moment actually helps in terms of mental health and dealing with the stress and anxiety of modern life. This is true for you. I would say it's even truer for your children. Many of my clients are young men and women in university, unbelievable stress levels, and I think it's much higher than certainly when I was in university. So it's a practice you can bring presence to your family. You can also teach them as well, and I would encourage you to do that. It is the single most effective form of therapeutic treatment I use with my patients who have moderate anxiety and high stress. So do it for your mental health and physical health, if nothing else. We didn't talk about it, and I won't go into it, but you can Google all of the benefits of meditation physiologically. Decreased blood pressure, it lowers the probability of diabetes. There's a number of physiological things. Not surprisingly, because we hold stress in our bodies. If you can take the time out and actually meditate, it reduces the stress, it reduces the impact on your body. So that's number one. Number two, in work today, and I want to pick up on a theme Peter raised as well, we have this mythology that multitasking is a wonderful thing. Actually, it's a terrible thing, because every psychological study you will see in every work study says that multitasking leads to suboptimal outcomes. You just cannot, your brain was not structured to be handling 6 things simultaneously. Positive psychologists have a term, the flow, and maybe you've had this experience. You're working on a project, time just flies by. you're having such a great time, you look up at the clock and it's 5 o'clock and you say, where did the day go? It comes from single-pointed attention, working on a project that you enjoy. Again, it has wonderful benefits, but also your work tends to be better because you lose yourself. And coming back to one of the objectives of meditation being to get out of yourself, it helps put you more in a state of single-pointed focus. When people start out meditating, this is really frustrating because we have a belief that we shouldn't think. There shouldn't be thoughts. I can tell you after 30 years of meditating, there's no such thing. We always have thoughts coming up. The real practice is actually letting the thoughts come up, not attaching to them, letting them go and coming back to the mantra. It's like an athlete training for something. And for those of you who've looked at things on athletic training, it takes 10,000 hours to master any skill. I would argue the same with meditation. In the beginning, it's actually a wonderful experience because you have so many opportunities to practice coming back to the mantra, because the thoughts will come up and they will go away, and even after 30 years, they still come up. So it's still a continuing practice that we need to do. And we like using the mantra because it's an easy way to come back and center ourselves. And as Peter said, over time, this will become almost unconscious because it'll be part of our breathing and the rest. But in the beginning, it's a good way to ground ourselves. So as professionals, it helps us get more focused and helps us bring attention to the work we do and gets us hopefully into a state of flow, of positive, where we actually do better in our work in terms of quality and focusing. The third point from an organizational level, I think in many ways you're an exceptional organization because you do have meditation every morning. I was fortunate once to meet a McKinsey partner called Michael Rennie down in Australia. Michael would charge clients millions of dollars to set up meditation rooms. So if you go to Woodside or you go to ANZ and Broken Hill Properties in Australia, you'll find meditation rooms that CEOs have spent millions of dollars to McKinsey, I wasn't with McKinsey, to set up meditation rooms. You have it here, as you know, meditation's basically free. You just have to be there, sit down, and show up. Why did they do that? McKinsey went through and looked at the research of leadership effectiveness and what made organizations effective. And what they found was the single greatest variable that was under organizations' control was actually the ability to take people out of the day-to-day malaise and put them apart so that they had time together to sit and think. And this was best done both collectively but also individually. And when they started looking at data and being the quants that they were, they ran experiments as well. They found that individual effectiveness for leaders and organizational effectiveness increased. You get benefits to doing meditation individually, you get it collectively as well. Have you ever gone into a meeting and you know it's going to be a bad meeting, you just get a vibrational sense that it's like, this is going to be awful? They were actually working with teams to say, look, if you get that sense, take 2 or 3 minutes, just meditate, breathe in, breathe out, and they would find that the quality of the interchange was different, that the malaise came down, people connected differently, and the rest. So I don't want to make meditation sound like the be-all and end-all to everything, but there's increasingly more and more scientific data saying it helps improve our health, it helps improve our productivity, it helps improve our leadership skills and presence with other people, and it helps us collectively. So my closing note always is, you can Google all sorts of information on meditation. You can read thousands of books. If you go to Mind, Body, and Spirit sections of Kinokuniya, there are bookshelves on it. You can read as much as you want. But the one thing that you absolutely need to do is just take the time and do the meditation. It's that simple.
So now we have time for questions. If you have some questions, we'll be happy to. Either we were very clear or you're totally confused. So what we will do is, yes. Do we recommend playing music during your meditation? It's a distraction. It's a distraction, you know. So we have to learn to go into complete silence. You know, the teacher of our community, John Main, who was the teacher of Father Lawrence Freeman, he says meditation is about coming to a complete stillness of body and spirit. Complete silence. It's very difficult to achieve that silence because your mind is already so distracted. So if on top of that you add the music, you see, you could be saying the mantra. You can say, all right, I play some classical music. I will say the mantra, you know, together with the classical music. But then you're dividing your attention. You're dividing your attention between the mantra and the music. You're distracted. So you have to learn to come to this single-pointedness. You know, it's quite challenging at first, but it is possible. Most important thing is not to expect perfection. Don't say, I'm going to sit down for 10 minutes, no distraction. You'll be lucky if 10 minutes, you're able to say with the mantra for 3 minutes at first. But with constant practice, it gets a little bit easier. So, you know, listening to music during the meditation or even visualizing the word Maranatha is a distraction. We have to learn to come to this inner stillness by quietly repeating this word and listening to it. Single pointedness. Okay, so what I'll be doing is I will send that audio of Father Lawrence. I will email it to you, and then you can share it with the rest. You know, it's good to listen to it again and again, so that you learn the basics of meditation, and then this card, read this card from time to time. With that audio recording and this card, that's all you need to learn about how to meditate. And then once you learn to meditate and then you build it into your daily life, you will discover for yourself why you should meditate. So learning how to do it and developing a habit is the most important thing. Okay, so with that, we want to thank you for coming today. Okay.
Also like to add that we have a morning meditation session every morning, Mondays to Friday at 8:35, usually here. So please feel free to join us if it's this is the first time or you've just begun, you want to start meditation. It's a good chance to do it as a group, and because you do it before work, it's very difficult to start it on your own at home sometimes if you don't already have a routine, like what Mr. Ng said. So now it's before you start work, you come into the office, you come to this room, and then it helps you to start that habit. Yeah, so please join us, and you can approach me, Peter, or Tom, who's not here today, and then we can add you to the chat group. So if we change destination, the rooms, then we will notify everyone. Thank you.